Most coaches try to speak to everyone, and when you speak to everyone, no one hears you. I watched a coach spend thousands of dollars on ads last year trying to fix a business problem that ads weren't really ever going to fix. His actual problem was that he didn't know who he was talking to, so he handed his growth over to a platform and paid for traffic that was never going to convert. Today, I actually want to give you the way that I think about this problem: who you serve, how narrow to go, and the one framework that makes all of it simple. So let's get into it. My name is Paul Oneid. I'm the head coach and founder at Master Athletic Performance, and I'm the founder and lead educator at Coaches Corner University. I've been coaching for over 20 years, and for the last 5, I've been teaching coaches how to build businesses that don't burn them out. I know how to do it because I still coach, and I always will. I built my mentorship program to be what I needed when I started my business back in 2014, and I've helped over 100 coaches build businesses that serve the life they want to live, not one they feel shackled to. Every coach I meet wants to start with the what. What's my offer? What's my price? What do I post? It's the wrong order. When I plan anything in my business, it goes who, then what, then how. The who drives everything: your offer, your content, your pricing, your language. All of it's downstream from one decision. Who is this for? From there, you'll know exactly how to speak to the person, the problems you need to solve, where to price yourself, and then how to package it into an offer stack that'll scale with you as you grow. The frame that you need to view your coaching practice through is very simple. Your client is the hero of their story. You're the guide. You're not the one who saves them. You're the one who's already walked the path they're standing at the start line of. You've been where they are, slayed the dragons they'll inevitably face, and you've got the results that they're looking to get for themselves. That said, this isn't about you. It's all about them. So the question isn't, how do I get clients? The question should be, who am I the right guide for? Get the who right, and the rest gets really, really easy. Get it wrong, and you'll outwork your own confusion for years and end up spinning your wheels. I do want to say that the who can and will change over time. When I started coaching online, I was one of the best powerlifters on the planet, so I was coaching mostly competitive lifters. Then, as I transitioned to bodybuilding, I got more physique-oriented clients, and now as I'm building multiple businesses, competing more in running and endurance events, my clients tend to be entrepreneurs and executives with diverse fitness interests. They want to be strong, capable, look the part, while being as productive as possible in their daily lives. It's still me coaching, but as you can see, my ideal client has changed as I have, and that's a natural progression within your career. The process we're going over today is the one that can and should constantly iterate. That right there is the key to this whole thing. If you take one thing away from this video, take this. Your ideal client is you, and it's probably you 5 years ago. You've walked the path, you've made the mistakes, you've felt the frustration. So the real question is simple. Who do you wish you had standing there with you when you were at that point? Be that person. If the last slide was the key, then this slide is likely the major pitfall that you're going to run into. Do not pick your ideal client based on who you think will pay you the most. That's a fast way to build a business you hate and a very quick way to make marketing an absolute nightmare. It'll make everything you do seem inauthentic, and it'll be very obvious when people see your content. You're a guide along a path you've already traversed. You can't guide someone down a road you've never walked. We've all seen this mistake in real time. I think last week I saw a 23-year-old life coach selling to C-suite executives. You are a guide along a path you've already traversed. You can't guide someone down a road you've never walked. We've all seen this mistake in real time. I think last week I saw a 23-year-old selling life coaching to C-suite executives. Come on, bro. The problems you have right now, those are the problems you were praying for 5 years ago. That's exactly why you can help the version of you that's still back there. So let's build that person out. For me, it breaks down into 5 layers. This is the work I want you to actually do after you've watched the video. First, we have demographics, the baseline criteria: age, income, occupation, life stage. Then we have psychographics, how they think, what they value, what they fear. Then you've got your problems to be solved. What's actually broken in their day-to-day? And this isn't the surface level bullshit. This is the real why behind the goals they're choosing. Then what barriers are in the way? What's stopping them from solving it themselves? Usually it's emotional, and it's your job to get to the depth of it. And then the last one is, what is it they get when they succeed? That's the real transformation, the person they want to become on the other end. So let's get into it a little bit deeper, the demographics, the surface level stuff. Age, gender, income, occupation, location, family situation, where they live, what they do, what they earn. This matters a lot less than people think, but it's the starting sketch. Think of it like the clothes the person wears. It doesn't give you an intimate look. You got to take them out for dinner and get to know them first. Second, we've got the psychographics. This is where it actually gets real. How do they think? What do they value? What are they afraid of? What's the inner tension driving their behavior? Our avatar at Master Athletic Performance is driven, self-reliant, highly critical of themselves. Their worth is tangled up into how productive they are and what they can achieve. They struggle to ask for help, and they're deeply skeptical of anyone selling them a shortcut. That's not a demographic, that's a human being. And you can only write that if you truly understand yourself at this stage. Third, we have the problems to be solved. What's actually broken in their day-to-day? Be specific. Not they want to get in shape. That's lazy and it's never that simple. Where is the why? What's underneath that? This is where you can get to the heart of it. Our person can train all day, but their nutrition is a mess and they feel like they're failing. They're stretched thin between family, business, their own goals, and they have no system, so they're constantly drowning in their own high expectations. Those are all problems you can name, and if you can name a problem better than your client can, they assume you have the solution. Notice here that we aren't being hyper-specific about outcomes. For a company like ours with 7 coaches, we solve a lot of surface-level problems. We coach fat loss, competitive athletes, operators in the military, CEOs, soccer moms, literally every demographic. So it's important for us to have a deep understanding of what's underneath and market to that. Fourth, we have the barriers. What's stopping them from solving the problem for themselves? Most people don't lack the knowledge or the strategies. They lack the tactics. They lack the ability to apply, to hold themselves accountable, and most often, they simply lack the bandwidth and need support. For us, it's a loud inner critic, fear of picking the wrong solution, so they pick nothing, difficulty releasing control and delegating, the belief that if they just tried a little harder, they wouldn't need help. Like I said, the barrier is rarely information. It's almost always emotional, and that's how it is for us at Master Athletic Performance. I feel like I say this in every video, but it's never going to be any less applicable, so I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it again. Coach the person, not the program. This is where that becomes most important. Fifth is the one most people skip, and it's arguably the most important, is what do they get when they win? And it's not the, oh, they get to lose 15 pounds. Go deeper. How will their lives change? How will the people around them look at them? How will they show up better in their lives? Using our business as another example, at Master Athletic Performance, we focus on the process. They get to feel proud of what they bring to the platform regardless of how they place. They get to rewrite the story for their kids. They get to trust themselves again. They get to stop white-knuckling their whole life. That's the transformation. That's what you're actually selling. The physique is the vehicle. The identity shift is the destination. Start by using your own wins here. Then, as you get more evidence, you can start sharing the wins of your clients. Like I said, demographics matter much less than people think. They get you in the neighborhood, but psychographics get you the invite. We've all seen the taglines, I help busy moms aged 32 to 44 who go to Trader Joe's on a Friday at 3 p.m. lose weight while avoiding gluten on their afternoon Pilates commute home. Stop. It's old, it's annoying. You're not going to build a business selling to a stick figure drawing. You're going to grow your business based on how clearly you can see the real person. You have to see your ideal client in 4K. Now, I kind of made a joke about it before, but niching is actually worth discussing. Niching is not about knowing who you serve. Knowing who you serve is a lot less important than knowing who you don't. The best piece of advice here is to take your best clients and find out the commonalities among them. That's the lane you need to drive in. Let me give you the filter that I use. I actually split every potential client into 2 buckets. We have ELF clients, easy, lucrative, fun. They're aligned with your values, they're coachable, they pay you your worth without haggling, and they respect your boundaries. Working with them fills your cup. The goal is to get as many of these as possible. I've spoken a lot in past talks about this, but rarely will you get a client right off the hop that fits this mold. Your systems, communication strategies, and delivery processes create these people and should be catered to engaging new clients and cultivating them into your ELF clients. Then we have half clients. Hard, annoying, lame, frustrating. They fight the process, they negotiate your price, they ghost you, they create problems that were never yours to solve, and when they don't get results, somehow it's your fault too. Ideally, your marketing, messaging, and content will filter these people out. Then your service changes the way that they show up, but sometimes you'll still get them. Over time, you'll get better at targeting your audience so the half ones don't make it through. This one slide carries 5 moves for finding your niche, and they all point in the same direction: narrower. Start at the top. When you speak to everyone, no one hears you. I can work with everyone. No, you can't, and you shouldn't want to. Speak directly to one person and solve one problem for them. Then you have to stand for something. If you want people to love you, some people have to hate you. That's not compromising your integrity, it's just refusing to be beige. Think of the people with the most raving fans. They're also the ones with haters. Then you're going to go into auditing your roster, sorting every client into ELF and half clients, and look at what your best ones have in common. That overlap is your niche. If you're already These people are already sitting in your business, you just haven't named their commonalities yet. At the bottom is the sharpest point, the one gap only you can close. Know your role and your capacity. Speak to the client you're already capable of serving. Don't be that 145-pound bodybuilding coach with a famine physique or that 23-year-old life coach I mentioned before. If you haven't lived it, don't speak on it. Start narrow, then get loud. The fear is that the market's too small, but you don't grow by watering your message down. You grow by putting a sharp one in front of more people. And that's something that I actually wish I focused on earlier in my career. It's TAM, or total addressable market. Your total addressable market isn't the whole world of people who want coaching. It's the pool of people who are the person you just built out. Audit it honestly. How many of them are out there? Where do they spend their time? On what platform? What are they searching? This is where you need to put your marketing energy. One of my mentees almost strictly focuses on Facebook for his lead generation. Why? Well, because he found that most of his ideal clients live there versus Instagram. He still posts on Instagram because it's easy to cross-post, but the majority of his energy is spent fishing the pond with more of the fish he's trying to catch. You'll almost always find that your niche is bigger than it feels and less crowded than you fear. A narrower message in a big pond beats a wide message shouting at the ocean. And I know that there will always be fear when you stop marketing to everybody. You're going to think you're missing out on a lot of people who might want to buy from you. It's normal, and I get it. The truth is that you don't widen your market by watering down your message. You widen it by putting a sharp message in front of more people. Narrow the message, widen the reach. Those are two different levers, and coaches confuse them constantly. Once the message gets sharp and you get better at communicating it, the social media algorithms will reward you with more of an audience. They're actually going to engage with your content, which is going to drive more people to see it. So let's bring this home for a landing. Figure out who before the what. Your ideal client is you 5 years ago. So build them out across 5 layers: demographics, psychographics, problems, barriers, and the transformation on the other side. Get ruthless about how you don't serve, then narrow the message and let the reach grow. One last thing, and if you follow my content, you'll know that it's one I tend to focus on the most. I alluded to it earlier. You will only build a business within the capacities you possess. Your business grows as you grow. If it's not moving, it's usually pointing at something in you that isn't ready to move. That's why this work is so powerful. Understanding your ideal client is really just understanding yourself, one layer at a time. So here's your homework. Drop a comment and tell me who you were 5 years ago. One sentence. Who's the person you're actually here to guide? Writing it out is the first step, so do it now. If this reframed anything for you, hit like so it reaches another coach who needs to hear it, and subscribe if you want to know more about how I actually think about this stuff. I'll see you in the next one.